Hey there YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today we're going back to bolt action, and I'm going to show you through one of my, what I call my ad hoc armies, which are basically armies that I haven't designed from the ground up. They're just armies that I tend to, you know, I've got the bulk of these guys from starter sets, and I've also brought from the assault group a whole bunch of metal German figures, and I've also got a few packs mixed in here from First Corps as well. Like I said, there was no set army list when I designed this army, and you know, everything that I've just got because I like the model, or you know, every now and then I just pick up something else to add to it. Like I've in sort of still left to paint, I've probably got another maybe squad or two of infantry and another half track, and I think I've even got some engineers and some motorbike troops as well. But I'm going to show you a few of these guys. Some of them are maybe not the best painted because bolt action was basically like the second thing I got when I first. Actually, the third thing I got when I first went back into painting. I started off with Dropship Commander with a little 10mm stuff, and then I went up to Flames of War, and then I got into bolt action. So some of the Germans are maybe not the best things I've ever painted, but they'll do. They're okay. So we'll start off with, like I normally do, with my command section here. There's no officer higher than a lieutenant at the moment, but I have actually got the higher ranked officer in my to-do pile. So we'll start off with the lieutenant. This guy is an assault group figure. I think he's an officer. He came from an officer pack. I really liked his position. Hold on, let's have a look. I think he is actually from the officer pack. Comes armed with an MP40. He's got a real nice loadout of belt kit, and I think he's in a really quite a cool position for a sort of a junior officer. Well, I suppose he's a first lieutenant in this case. So that is the lieutenant figure. I'll try and bring you in for a closer look. I did the sort of splinter tarn type camouflage in his helmet. I don't know how well that's showing up. Looks a bit blurry on my view screen, but it might be okay when I'm actually showing you. And he's got a fairly basic base, but yeah, quite a nice figure all the same. His two helpers. We've got two NCO figures here. One assault group, one First Corps, and you can see this First Corps guy is actually the Steiner figure, based from First Corps, which is based on the Cross of Iron, which is one of my definitely one of my favourite of all time war films. Really nice figure, and you can see I've given him the splinter tarn type camouflage in his trousers. I think he's a really nice figure actually. He's I was going to make him lead a squad, but for now he's kind of in sort of like, you know, the highest ranking NCO within this army. And here we have the second NCO. This guy's actually from assault group, and I believe he's from an actual NCO pack of figures. Pretty basic. He hasn't got a massive amount of belt kit, but he has got his MP40 there, and again, a really nice posed and good looking figure. Okay, next up for the command squad, we go for the observer, or the radio man. So this again is an assault group miniature. I really like this figure. It comes with the later war backpack radio. and given him like the signal corps shoulder tabs there, and you can see that he's actually the rank of a corporal. Pretty cool figure. And next up, the medic. This guy came from, funnily enough, a medic pack. It's a pretty basic medic. I wanted one that, because you get a few that have got the old early war style white vest, and I didn't particularly want to put those into my army because my army's kind of designed around sort of the later part of the middle towards the end of the war, because of like it's you know, the later armour. But yeah, it's quite a nice figure, very basic. The only way you can really tell he's a medic is by the fact that he's got an armband on. He's got the medic pouches there. Don't know how. There you go. You can see his medic front pouches there. But strangely enough, this guy hasn't got an extra water bottle, which a lot of medics used to carry. But that's that. I might well swap him out with another couple of medic figures that I've actually got in my plastic and metal mountain. One of which is like treating a casualty, so I might well like swap him out with that guy. But like I say, the way I've designed this army is that they'll just be like a massive pool of figures, and you can just kind of build an army out of whatever points total that you've got, because there's no real way. You know, I never really had a plan of like I do with most of my other bolt action armies, where I actually, you know, set out on paper what I want to collect first, and then try and buy either like an army deal or whatever deals I can get to try and build that like force up. And of course, I tend to get armies all at once as well, which is another big difference about this army, where this army's kind of built up out of, you know, and having an initial core of figures from starter sets, along with like the half track from the original, from the second starter set, and the, I think did the Puma come in a starter set? I think it did, and the two Panthers came in the Tank War set. So that is the medic. Next up we have a sniper team. These guys are made out of plastic, guys. They're maybe not the best things in the world, but they do the job. So here we have the first sniper. I've given these guys camouflaged clothing. And I've kind of stuck them in some brush just to kind of make them stick out a little bit more, to make them identifiable. And here we have the helper, which is basically just a generic infantryman with sort of a camouflaged outfit on. So that's the sniper team. And that is the end of the command figures. The next thing we have is the support teams, and the only support team we've got is a single MMG, and I believe the maker of this unit is possibly First Corps. So we have the main machine gun here. This came out really cool. I really do like this this set. It's really coolly positioned figures. It went together really easy. Everything fits together perfectly. The figures fitted behind the machine gun perfect. The bullet belt matched up to the machine gun perfect, with very little having to actually, you know, bend the belt round to try and get it to fit. It practically fit first time straight away. I think I just had to kind of just put a little bit of emphasis on that sort of kink in the belt, just to get it to like 100% line up. But straight out of a poly bag to line up that well is pretty you know, pretty good praise. I think these First Corps figures are pretty damn good, and I suppose it's a shame that I haven't got more of them in my army. But I do like this machine gun team, and of course the third figure I've put onto a separate stand for a change, because normally I base my machine gun teams all as one, but in this case I decided to keep this guy separate, and allowing me the option to use him as perhaps a spotter if I don't use that machine gun team, or I could just swap out somebody else, which I think is quite a good idea, especially for the sort of the pick and choose nature of sort of the design of this army. So there's the spotter, or the commander of the machine gun team, and of course I'll just give you another quick look at the machine gun team itself. There's a view from the top. You can see that they've both got the camouflaged tops on, and that one guy there, the loader, has actually got camouflaged trousers as well. And I think, oh, actually the machine gun has as well. Yeah, pretty cool. I was pretty chuffed with how that turned out. Okay, now we're going to go into the infantry sections. Now I've kind of roughly set these guys up into squads, but they're not really in squads. I'm just going to basically take you through them. Some of them are going to be really crap, so I'll just run you through them really quickly. I mean, this guy is, actually it's not a leader. Here's the leader. So here we have a squad. So what is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, a 10-man squad, just roughly thrown together, just for the purposes of this video. So we have the NCO here. This guy comes from the assault group NCO pack again. Really cool position, really cool belt kit. Very cool figure. Although this guy has actually got corporal stripes, so perhaps he's the second the unit corporal. And here we have the actual sergeant, made out of plastic. He's one of my real early figures. He's from my very first starter sets. So he's painted kind of basic, but he looks okay. The rest of the squad now, I'm just gonna kind of run you through these guys quickly. Just give you a quick view of the figure. Again, this guy's from the old school first sets, and you can see that he's a loader because he's got the ammo box on his back, and he is the loader for this machine gun here, this LMG. So I tried to sort of pose, even though this is like one of my early figures, I tried to pose all my machine gun teams in as many different positions as I possibly could, to make them sort of be more recognisable, and C, especially with the loaders, I tried to sort of put them into sort of different positions and try and stick ammo boxes to the actual figures to try and make them stand out. But I still, they still tend to get lost in the rank and file. So sometimes I have trouble trying to find them. Here we have this guy's an assault group miniature actually. This guy with the assault rifle here, and he's got a Panzerfaust on his back. So pretty basic figure, but again, good belt kit, nice position, and an okay figure. And here we have this guy is obviously from the one of the later German Grenadiers box set, which I actually got for free when I received Bolt Action version 2. So I've got some of these guys mixed in. I've still got figures left in the box actually that I still have to sort of put together. But I do like these the Grenadier figures. They're much better than the very first basic Germans that came out. So there's that guy. And here now we have a couple of basic submachine gun guys. These guys again are from the very first set of my very first starter set, which was the old school one, the one that just came with the I believe it just came in miniatures actually. It didn't, and some Americans, some Germans, and some farmhouse scenery. So there's those two guys, and just to finish off, we have another couple of infantry, although one is assault group. So here we have this guy here is the assault group guy. Pretty basic, but quite a nice figure. I like the fact he had the alternate headgear. And finally another Panzerschreck guy. Again from the old school set. Okay, so that's one sort of generic-y type squad down. Next up, we just have this odd machine gun team here, LMG team, designed to go within a squad. I kind of forgot about him, so when I was setting up the squads I kind of forgot to put this guy in. But I believe there is a late war veteran squad that can have 2 LMGs, so this is probably designed for one of those. Again, these guys are, I believe, first corps, and they are very, very good again. I'm not usually a master of prone figures, but I do really like this these couple of guys. Again, very little effort putting them together. Just literally stick the bipod on the bottom of the machine gun and roughly match up the ammo. Again, it needed very little like bending around to get it to match up with the actual magazine feed on the machine gun. And you can see again these guys, one of them's in camouflage trousers. Try and get that to zoom in on it. I don't know how well that's actually going to turn out. He's got normal trousers. They both got camouflaged helmet colours. And I believe they've both got normal army tops. So there's just a sort of spare LMG team, all going with a sort of a later war team. Let's actually get the command team out of the way. I kind of just keep these guys in a generic sort of cardboard box, where I keep most of my other armies in those KR cardboard multi-cases. So obviously these guys quite often suffer from the odd figure having his arm broken off every now and then, which is a little annoying every time you open up the box. Okay, another squad coming up, and I'll do the same sort of thing. These guys are a mixture of mostly plastic grenadiers from the grenadier set, with just a couple of assault group Germans. So here we have an assault group's NCO, again from the NCO pack, I believe. Very good figure, a little bit of a basic position, I guess, but I liked his belt kit. It's appropriate for an NCO. So that's the sergeant. Next up, got some bog standard riflemen. These guys are, like I say, from the Grenadier set. You can see they're so much better figures than the basic ones. This guy's got a camouflage helmet cover. Just a basic rifleman. And this guy has actually got a Zelt band on. And a helmet cover as well. He's sporting a G43. Okay, here we have one of the few old school figures in this particular army. I believe there's one more. This guy is just one of a box standard infantryman from the old school German set. Here we have a Panzerschreck guy built up out of the Grenadier set. Pretty cool. I'm not actually a massive fan of having guys setting up to fire Panzerschrecks. I tend to just have them on their back. But you can see this guy has packing a G43, and he's got a camouflage helmet cover. And I think this guy came out okay. And here we have, let's start going into twos again, so we've got another couple of infantrymen here. again from the Grenadier set. This guy here with the G43 and camouflage trousers and a camouflage helmet cover. And this guy in he's actually got camouflage trousers. You can see the style of camouflage there. And he has obviously got a camouflage helmet cover too. Yeah. Three more guys for this squad. Here we have the an LMG gunner. This guy is kind of doing the Rambo style last ditch pick up the machine gun and try and walk forward while firing it from the hip, which is probably not a very good idea. And his loader. This guy is actually, I believe, built out of the Grenadier set as well, carrying an ammo box behind him. So there we have the machine gun team. And very final figure is an assault group miniature again, same position as the one of the ones in the previous squad. Pretty basic, but quite a nice figure all the same. On to another squad. So this squad is again a mixture of old school Germans and some of the Grenadiers and just a couple of assault group Germans. First being the NCO again. So again another German from the NCO pack. This guy's actually looks like he's a corporal again, this guy. So I've obviously missed out an NCO figure for this squad. Pretty cool figure. Here we have an LMG gunner. This guy I believe could be from the Grenadier set. Just a slightly different position. He's kind of bringing the machine gun up to put it into position. Camouflage helmet cover. Other than that, pretty standard. Old school figure here, with a Panzer Schreck on his back. The preferred way of me putting them on figures actually. So pretty basic. Here we have another couple of old schools. Actually no, one of these is a newer Grenadier figure. I wonder if you can tell which one's which. This guy is obviously the newer figure. You can see that they've got much better detail around the sort of waist. Their heads are better. They obviously had the double arm rifles, and this guy's actually a loader because he's got an ammo box on his back. This guy's just a regular trooper. Like I say, some of these squads are a little messed up. They're not really regulation because I kind of just threw them together. So here we have a Grenadier with a assault rifle. Of course, if you're doing a late war German army, you're silly if you don't put your 2 assault rifle troops in. I'm not actually a massive fan of playing power armies, and I think Germany's definitely one of those power armies, you know, that people take because they've got, you know, the Gucci tanks and the assault rifles and the more powerful LMGs. But you know, I like them. I mean, I play bot action mostly on my own anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. Okay, and now a few more figures left. I've got another assault rifle figure here. This guy is actually he's a sergeant of a squad. So pretty bog standard NCO pose, but I quite liked it. And of course he's made out of the Grenadier box, and he's got the helmet covered head. Pretty good. And the final two figures for the squad, we've got like 2 more small squads left to go before we get into the vehicles. We've got an assault group bog standard rifleman here. And we've got an old school, is it old school? I believe it is, yeah. Old school bog standard German. His helmet's on his back there. I'm going to pop straight into the, now this next squad is, I call this my F squad, because this is actually one of the very few kind of set up squads, and they're kind of all made up out of mostly grenadier figures, but with one old school you know, bog standard German infantry from the assault group, and one NCO from assault group, and the machine gun loader, sorry, not the machine gun loader, the actual machine gunner itself is from First Corps. So let's start with the NCO. So here we have another great posed NCO from assault group. I really do like the assault, some of the assault group miniatures. I used a hell of a lot of them in my Marine Army. I just kind of fell in love with them, and I've got to admit, although their bog standard German infantry may not be the best thing in the world, their command figures are awesome. Okay, that's him. And here's the lone bog standard infantryman. Nice belt kit. And here we have a bog standard infantryman again from the Grenadier set. So this is the corporal. And another bog standard infantryman with a camouflaged helmet cover. Here is the machine gunner from First Corps, I believe. Starting to get low on battery as well, actually. Here's the, I believe this guy's the loader. He's got the carrying the ammo case, and he's also got the spare barrel thing on his back. The 2 assault rifle guys, made out of plastic figures, pretty bog standard, but they came out pretty cool. Both got camouflage helmets. And finally, the final 2 infantry, again with Zelt bands, different styles of helmets, bog standard Kar 98s. Now one more, I'm just going to, these are all, this last squad here, apart from a couple of, actually only one metal assault group miniature. These are all guys built up out of the old school rifle sets. I'll just give you a really quick view. So here we have a rifleman with a Panzerschreck on his back. Another rifleman with a Panzerschreck on his back. The NCO figure, which could possibly be from, I think he's old school, but I've given him a helmet, spare helmet from the Grenadier pack on his back. Two riflemen, one possibly from the Grenadier set. Two more riflemen. Definitely old school, these guys. Another, this guy's metal figure from the assault group. This guy's got the assault rifle. And finally we've got a machine gun loader with a bayoneted rifle for some reason, so perhaps it's not actually a loader, this figure. So a bog standard infantryman using a bayoneted rifle because of the classic running out of normal rifles and having no choice but to use a bayoneted rifle. And then finally again a bog standard assaulting MG42 guy, an MG gunner. So that is the end of all the infantry. Start going into the vehicles now. We'll start off with the Opel Blitz truck. This truck came out really cool. I believe this model is a Rubicon model. Love the way I actually put my own windscreen in. They give you like a template and I cut it out of a blister. Comes with 2 crew. Awesome. I really do like vehicles that come with crew. And they're pretty good figures as well. I did it in this style of, I think this is like a sort of a Normandy style camouflage. On this truck, it came out really cool. It's a really nice model actually. I gave it the canvas top and a closed up back. And it's a little bit muddy. I really do like it. I think it's a great model. Okay, next up, the half-track. This came in my start set, I believe. And the strange thing about this particular vehicle is that there's a gunner but no driver. Typical sort of Warlord. Next up, we have the Puma, another sort of classic staple for a lot of German players. It's got the old dual drive, you know, so it can drive backwards as if it's going forwards. It's got yeah, you know, it's a movable turret, so I put a commander in there. I can't remember if this came in the start set. I think it might have. I can't remember. But it came out okay. Next up, let's go for the Panthers, because these guys I got from the Tank War set when Tank War first came out. So you have this style of Panther here. This is an airbrushed on camo. Quite a nice model, if not a little bit basic. I decided not to put a commander in this particular one. I do like the way it came out. So that is my first Panther. My second Panther, again, airbrushed camouflage. And this guy has got a commander in this one. So that is the second Panther. It's getting low on battery now. Next up, Panzer IV. I brought this separately. Really nice model. Again, airbrushed camouflage. Came out really cool. Again, a good staple of any German player. And finally, the big beast, the Tiger. This is a Rubicon Tiger, airbrush camo. I think it came out really cool. It's one of those vehicles that you sometimes think, is it really worth the points value for it? But I think it's a great model, and it's very intimidating. Great tank that no doubt all German players will end up getting. And with literally minutes of battery power left, that is the end of this run through of my Ad-Hoc German army. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to subscribe if you haven't, and comment. You know, I'm quite happy to take criticism and stuff like that. I do. You have to realise that a lot of these basic figures are old school when I first started painting, but obviously you can see the quality of painting go up as I sort of went through them. And I'll catch you in the next one, which will probably be my Ad-Hoc Americans. Running out of power, so I'll catch you later.